Society for Science and the Public was founded in the early 1920s as a syndication service for scientific research information for the major newspapers of the day. About a generation later, in the early 1940s, it expanded its programs to serve the mission of public engagement in science by offering the Science Talent Search. This, of course, contributed to the priorities of the day in investing in scientific research for the war effort at that time. This then evolved into the Science Talent Search, later the Westinghouse Science Talent Search, and now the Intel Science Talent Search. These programs have been joined by what was initially the National Science Fair and now is the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair, as well as the Broadcom Masters for middle school students. All these programs together with our Science News family of publications serve to advance the public engagement in science, which remains our mission today. Of course, Society for Science and the Public cares very much about maintaining the quality and the visibility of its current science competitions and publications. But also, we are determined to build on these successes by broadening our reach, by reaching many more millions of people in the U.S. around the world through digital platforms which enable us to bring the wonders of science to people all over the world. In addition, we hope to reach additional populations of students with our science competition programs. Not all students have access to mentorship, to universities, to corporations, which provide an environment for them to do their science. We want all students to have those sorts of opportunities, and additional resources will enable that to happen. Society for Science and the Public has some unique advantages, starting with its 90 years of successful history. In addition to that, we have 80 affiliated fairs around the world. These reach millions of students who are interested in science and help us get the word out about the importance of science to students everywhere in our world. In addition, our publications reach tens of millions of people interested in all fields of science. Finally, our partnerships with notable corporations and foundations provide additional visibility and resources to enable us to reach greater audiences. Our effectiveness, of course, is our ability to fulfill our mission to advance the public engagement of science. This is measured in various ways. For example, the number of readers of Science News and Science News for Kids, the number of students applying to and competing in our science competitions. Also, we have objective measures of success and effectiveness, not least of which is our 4-star rating from Charity Navigator. And of course, we subscribe to the most rigorous practices of nonprofit management so that every dollar that comes in to Society for Science and the Public is guaranteed to be well spent and effective, efficient. We know we're doing well when the number and quality of students applying to our science competitions grows, and it does every year. It's incredibly gratifying. In addition, many of those students capture the imaginations of the public through their inspiring and important scientific discoveries. In addition, we have a growing number of students, teachers, and parents reading Science News for Kids, and we know that Science News for Kids reaches classrooms all over the country and the world with incredibly important, inspiring stories about scientific research written in a way that's accessible to these young audiences. Many people are familiar with our science competitions, particularly the Intel Science Talent Search, which is highly visible in the U.S. Other many millions of people are familiar with our publications, Science News and Science News for Kids, but most of those people have no idea that those programs are united in a single nonprofit organization. They assume that Science News is commercially published because of its professionalism, but in fact, Science News and Science News for Kids have been published by the nonprofit organization SSP since they were initially published in the early 1920s. The Society has been offering first-rate science competitions for many decades. Just last year, we offered more than $4 million in scholarships and awards to young people all over the world. In addition, Science News expert reporters and editors have received countless distinguished awards for the quality of their science writing. When people come to Science News, they know they're getting unbiased, expert information about science. Society for Science and the Public is proud that it's one of only 10% of U.S. nonprofits to have earned a 4-star rating from Charity Navigator 3 or more years in a row. In addition, SSP won the Public Service Award from the National Science Board of the National Science Foundation for its outstanding contributions to science and science education. Science News, even though it's a nonprofit publication, faces the very same challenges as publishers of commercial publications. That is, as information is increasingly available online, and of course we applaud and contribute to that reality because it directly serves our mission, it's harder and harder to monetize our publishing efforts and to support the costs of editing, reporting, and producing the Science News. Therefore, these financial challenges will continue to be a reality to us as we seek to fill that gap through sponsors and donors. In addition, an ongoing challenge is to reach new and different demographics of students to compete in our competitions. We want to reach those students who don't have easy access to science in their communities, to mentorships, to parents who may be familiar with these topics. We want to reach the science-engaged students no matter what her or his resources are. We want to train their teachers, and we want to make science available and exciting to everyone. With additional resources, the Society could reintroduce science clubs in middle schools across the country. This is something that the Society did for 20 years in its early history, and we see a need returning for that sort of personal engagement. In addition, we could reach broader audiences, both through our publications and through our science competitions. It's critically important that the general public understand the importance of science to their everyday lives. Science is what drives our economic well-being, our physical well-being, as well as the technology that improves all of our lives. We want to be able to invest in this purpose going forward through our competitions by reaching more students. Students from every field and background have the potential to contribute to our economic well-being and to our science efforts in this country around the world. We want to reach every one of them. In addition, we feel that there should be additional voices in support of sound policy for science and science education. SSP is positioned to be a powerful voice in that realm.